Welcome to Mahipal Reddy's GK host. Myself Prithvidhar Reddy. Today we are going to discuss 9 topics which include Regma Nagas, India's ethanol roadmap, heritage cities, heritage trees, gharials, bitcoins which are accepted as a legal tender, MSP for Kharif crops declared, and chairman of LIC gets extension, and new technology in the T cell therapy, that is CAR T cell therapy, and what are the ISRO's ventilators. Okay, so I will be discussing these topics in a detailed manner. Coming to the first one, Regma Nagas. What is the issue and what are the 6th schedule areas? Actually, coming to Regma Nagas, these are found in the states like Nagaland, Assam, and Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh. So why these are in the news? Because these are demanding autonomous district council. Why? Because state and central governments have upgraded a particular region in the Assam, that is Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council, that is KAAC, and also other area called Northern Kachar Hills Autonomous Council, NCHAC. Okay, two areas. One is KAAC, okay, and the second one is NCHAC. These are the two regions which are declared as autonomous district council in the state of Assam. But these tribal groups are also demanding the similar status for them. Okay, what is the advantage they would get if they are declared as the autonomous district councils? So what will happen? They will be getting more autonomy. What is that? More autonomy, and also more legislative and executive power for these areas, so that they can administer their own areas according to their own wishes. Okay, and even the financial grants will be very increased from both state governments as well as central government if they are given the status of this particular autonomous district council. And let us discuss something about these autonomous district councils. So basically, we have 6th schedule areas under our constitution and article 244 class 2, which provides for administration of tribal areas in the four northeastern states. What are the 4 northeastern states? Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. So in these states, we have tribal areas or 6th schedule areas. These states have been recognized under this particular 6th schedule areas. So basically, these 6th schedule areas under which they will be declaring autonomous district councils, and these autonomous district councils will be having the freedom to exercise both legislative power and executive power. Of course, these are under the executive power of the state, but within the state they will be enjoying more autonomy. And coming to the autonomous district council composition, it will be containing 30 members, and out of these 26 members are elected and 4 members are nominated by the governor. And governor has the power to organize and reorganize the autonomous district councils. So this is the power that is vested with the autonomous district councils. Okay, so we must remember the 6 schedule areas where these are located. Okay, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Okay, right. Coming to the next important thing, India's ethanol roadmap. India's ethanol roadmap, which is declared by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Okay, and coming to this particular roadmap, this Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas has appointed an expert committee, because this expert committee had recommended how the ethanol pricing should be taking place. This is the first thing. And secondly, identifying what are the sources of the ethanol manufacturing. This is what mentioned by this particular expert committee. And you understand, in this particular roadmap, what is given, they have given a roadmap how to develop the ethanol blending. Basically, we are importing more than 80% of the petroleum from the other countries. So we are extremely dependent upon the imports. So in this scenario, how we should reduce the import burden? So for that reason, the experts have recommended we can blend the petrol and diesel with the ethanol. So if you are going to blend the petrol and diesel with ethanol, what will happen? Lesser consumption of the petrol and diesel takes place. Okay. For example, what is a blending that is permitted? By the year 2022, okay, there must be E10 blending. E10 blending means 90 ml of petrol or diesel must be blended with the 10 ml of ethanol. This is what the target which is set by 2022. And coming to the E20 blending, by April 2023, we have to blend 20 ml of ethanol with 80 ml of petrol. This is what the ratio of ethanol and petroleum or diesel. In this way, we are able to reduce the import dependency from the other countries. Okay, right. And coming to next other things, coming to the ethanol, what is the importance of ethanol? Ethanol is a important biofuel. It is manufactured by two processes. One is by fermentation, and secondly by the chemical process. What is that? Chemical process. These are the two processes through which you can manufacture the ethanol. Okay. And the E20 target has been advanced. In fact, the target was set by 2013. In fact, for E20 blending, it was advanced to the year 2025. It means India is very much eager to achieve this particular E20. And coming to the current blending pattern in India, it is 8.5% of ethanol. 8.5% of ethanol is blended in the India. Okay, so this is the right pattern. And because of this particular blending, how much money we are going to save? It is about 30,000 crore rupees per every year. Okay, so and what are the potential sources which are identified by this particular expert committee? What are the potential sources? There are two potential sources. One is maize. Okay, so we have to utilize this dryland crop, that is maize, so that we can extract the ethanol. And secondly, already we are encouraging sugarcane farmers. From sugarcane molasses also we can manufacture or synthesize this particular ethanol. Okay, and what is the advantage that would flow from the ethanol? There are two advantages. One is we are able to save the cost of imports, and secondly, even this ethanol is very much climate friendly, so lesser emissions are possible with the ethanol. So these are the basic potentialities and advantages out of this particular ethanol, that is biofuel. And coming to other projects, we have E100 project. Recently it has been inaugurated in the Pune city, so which is in Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra. And moreover, there is an automobile company called TVS, which had manufactured the engine of two-wheeler, that is TVS Apache. Okay, so that it can use a E80 blend. It means sometimes even the ethanol is very much high also, this engine is able to manage itself. Even sometimes E100 blend, complete ethanol is also used as a fuel for this particular Apache vehicle. So in this way, the E100 project was launched. It is a pilot project which was launched in the city of Pune. And other schemes, if you try to see, there are schemes like Gobar. What is that? Gobar. Gobar means galvanizing organic bioagro resource. What is that? Galvanizing organic bioagro resource. And Gobar Dhan scheme. Okay, this is what Gobar Dhan scheme, which was launched in the year 2018, and which tries to make the wealth from the cattle dung and plant waste. So this is what the idea behind this particular Gobar scheme. And coming to other scheme, that is a RUCO scheme. What is that? RUCO. Very, very important. Okay, examiner may ask this sort of questions because India is focusing more upon the biofuels. Okay, what is that? Repurpose, repurpose used cooking oil. So whatever the cooking oil we have left over, so this cooking oil can be converted into the biodiesel. Okay, so who had launched this particular scheme? That is the FSSAI, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Food Safety and Standards Authority of India had launched this particular RUCO scheme, which tries to convert this cooking oil, used cooking oil, into biodiesel. Okay, so these are the schemes which are very much important for the biodiesel and bioethanol is concerned. Coming to the third important current affair, recently Maharashtra cabinet had declared certain trees to be declared as a heritage trees. For example, there are trees which are aged more than 50 years, which are aged more than 50 years in the urban areas. Okay, so in order to protect these trees, Maharashtra cabinet had declared them as heritage trees. Okay, how the heritage trees are declared? So it is based on the size of the tree, it is based on the shape, the rarity, how rare it is, rarity, and fourthly, what is the aesthetic importance or historic values, historic values. So in this way, the trees are identified, and the size of the trees, as far as length of the trees is concerned, it must be 60 to 8 feet. The height of the tree is concerned, it must be between 6 to 8 feet height, and they will be geotagging the trees, geotagging. Okay, whereby they can easily locate the trees, and they can make any measure to protect the trees. Okay, and they will be establishing a state level authority to provide to preserve as well as the protect the trees which are identified under this particular heritage trees project. And the government also has taken a decision to ensure at least 33% of the vacant government lands must be used for the plantation. So in this way, Maharashtra government has taken very, very revolutionary measure to protect the trees in Maharashtra state. And coming to other important news items, that is gharial. Why gharials are in the news? So gharials are in the news because the state of Odisha, the state of Odisha had announced a cash award of 1,000 rupees, okay, to conserve the gharials in the Mahanadi river basin. Mahanadi river basin. So, okay, this Mahanadi is the largest river in the state of Odisha. You must remember this point. And these gharials are nothing but Asian crocodiles. Asian crocodiles. And India has three important species as far as the gharial is concerned. One is gharials, crocodiles is concerned. One is gharials. Second one is mugger crocodile. Thirdly, saltwater crocodile. Saltwater crocodile. So in the examination, you may get a question: which of the following is most endangered? Okay, which is in the red list? Okay, so the most endangered is this gharial. Okay, and coming to this mugger crocodile, it is only vulnerable. And as far as the saltwater crocodile is concerned, it is least concerned. It means which crocodile is facing most threat is the conservational threat is gharial. Okay, right. Then bitcoins are accepted or legal tender. So this is very important thing because in the world, the only country which had for the first time declared Bitcoin as a legal tender is El Salvador, which is in the Central America. Central America, which is a coastal country. Okay, and because what is a legal tender? Legal tender is the money which is legally acceptable money. Legally acceptable. Okay. So basically this El Salvador country, why it has declared? Because most of the workers which are working in the foreign regions, they would send money in various forms. It could be in the Bitcoin form or in the dollars. Okay. So in order to encourage the workers who are spread across the world as far as this country is concerned, so to encourage them to send the money to this particular country in order to encourage the remittances from the foreign countries. This is the first reason. Coming to the second reason is this El Salvador does not have its own currency. It follows the US dollar. Okay. Thirdly, it does not have any monetary policy. So they don't have any bank like India in order to, like Reserve Bank of India, in order to regulate the financial market, in order to regulate the banking sector and financial system. So they depend upon the US for the regulation. So that's the reason why if you are more constraining the options for the workers to send the money, definitely they will be losing out a lot of money unsent. That's the reason why they have recognized this particular Bitcoin as a legal tender. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is nothing but cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency. So it is an virtual currency, and this is based on your ability to solve a complex algorithm. It is not that simple, and this currency is very well maintained by the blockchain technology. What is the technology behind this particular thing? Blockchain technology. Okay. Then there are various types of virtual currency, okay, or cryptocurrency, which include first one Bitcoin, as you know, second one Ethereum, okay, and third one Ripple. So these are the most important Bitcoins or cryptocurrencies that are being in the usage. And the Bitcoin, for the first time, it came into operation in the year 2009, right? Then, so what is the capital city of this particular El Salvador? That is San Salvador. San Salvador. Okay, right. Coming to the MSP for the Kharif crops. Basically, what is MSP? MSP is nothing but minimum support price. Minimum support price. So minimum support price is called MSP. So how MSP is declared? Basically, we have CACP, which is attached to Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Okay, this is an attached body, that is a Commission on Agriculture Costs and Prices. Okay, so this commission would be recommending the prices for the various crops based on the cost of production, based on the expenditure, okay, which is invested on the agriculture, etc., on a particular crop. Okay, how many crops which will be declared with MSP? 22 crops are declared with the MSP. Okay, and for sugarcane it is declared FRM, fair remunerative price. Okay, then coming to this particular MSP for the Kharif crops, actually Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, which was headed by the Prime Minister, approved the increase for for crops in the Kharif season. Okay, approve he I mean this CCEA had approved the increase in the MSP. Okay, so what is the crop which had received the highest price hike is Sisamum. Sisamum, which had got 452 per quintal. This is the highest increment. Okay, coming to the second one, Tur and Urad dals. So these got 300 rupees per quintal rice. Okay, so this is what the important issue as far as the MSP is concerned. And coming to other important current affair, chairman of LIC gets extension. What is his name? MR Kumar, who got extended. Okay, and this is 9 months extension, 9 month extension. He has been extended with the term up to 9 months. And LIC is formed out of an act called Life Insurance Corporation Act of 1956. So it is a corporation, definitely an enactment must be there. Okay, there. Coming to other important current affair, India's first CAR T cell therapy. What is CAR? CAR means chemical antigen receptor. Antigen receptor. Chemical antigen receptor. This is the technology, this T cell therapy technology, which is very much useful in the treatment of the terminal stage of the cancer. Whichever the patient is in the end stage of the cancer, for their relief, this particular T cell therapy can be used. This particular trial was started in the Tata Memorial Center Hospital, Tata Memorial Center Hospital, and this particular T cell therapy chemical antigen receptor was designed by a scientist of IIT Bombay, IIT Bombay, and which is under the clinical trials. Okay, the clinical trials are under the Gaurav Narula. He is a doctor, pediatrics oncologist. Okay, and this is actually manufactured and engineered by IIT Bombay, as I told you. Okay, this is very, very important technology for the treatment of the cancer is concerned. And lastly, what are the ISRO's ventilators? So ISRO had developed 3 ventilators, which include Prana, Vayu, and Swasta. So these are the 3 ventilators which were developed. Prana means programmable respiratory assistance for the needy. Okay, this is what the technology which is very much important, which is very much low cost, and which can be used for the critical care also. Okay, right. And coming to the next important thing, Vayu, which is called a ventilation assist unit. Okay, which is an ICU grade positive mechanical ventilator, which is also ICU grade ventilator. And coming to the third technology, Swasta, what is that? Space ventilator aided system. Space ventilator aided system. So this is used for the trauma assistance who got severely injured. For them, this Swasta is used, which is the gas powered ventilator. Okay, so we have 3 technologies. One is programmable respiratory assistance for the needy aid, and the second one is Vayu, that is ventilation assist unit. Thirdly, it is Swasta, which is a space ventilator aided system. Okay, so thank you friends, thank you for watching this video. Meet you in the next class.